Okay.
Woo! All right, everyone,
Hey,
what's
what?
up?
We're gonna have to do that whole thing again. Yeah.
Woo! Unless Elisa also recorded her audio.
I record my audio.
Oh, see, so we got that.
But she didn't record our audio. So we'll just ask the questions again later. Be like,
Yeah, we'll come back. You know, it's fine. We're good.
For that? All right. You just want to keep going, Lizzie?
Yeah, let's just keep going. So, Elise, I know you DJ'd another emo night where people were much more confident in streaming than we are. So, how was that?
Ask that question without like a hey, I just got to change the subject real quick.
Emo night was fun. It was on Zoom, and I did want a couple. It was the same one. It was back. Time is confusing, so I don't actually remember when it was, but it was in the summer, I think, and it was fun and like it was cool. You just go in there and you hang out, and you can see everyone on the Zoom. They're all hanging out. It's like being with your friends, and just listening to some music and stuff. So it was cool to get to do it again and just like sort of chill with people, but not be breathing on them, you know?
Yeah, you know, the ideal is just being like, hey, and not being like, hey, what's up?
And I like, I think I went a little wide with emo definition, but I felt pretty good about it. I think people hopefully like the set. They seem
How do you go wide with the emo definition? Because I can understand how you can go a little wide, and then sometimes you go a little bit too wide.
Well, like I played this the first time I got the first time I did it, I made a rule for myself that I was only going to DJ songs that I owned. So I used like just stuff that I had only, and I made this like hours and hours long playlist of stuff so that I would just have like choices, so I didn't have to go searching for them on my computer because I have like a bunch of stuff on there, and then just kind of played like had the first like 4 songs decided on. Opened up with Phil Oakes, The Ballad of Medgar Evers. It's a folk song about Medgar Evers, and then went straight into Namdi, Black Plight, and then did I forget what was next, but basically my theme was like all cops are terrible. And
enjoy the vibe.
Yeah, and so like went into I did Anti-Flag and we had Strike Anywhere and stuff, but then got like just too silly after a while because I like put on Tower of Power and and stuff like that. But this time I mostly stuck to it, except I played an Ace of Base song, but like it felt emo to me.
It kind of goes in there.
Subject wise, you know, like vibe wise, like maybe not genre wise, but
yeah,
that was how I thought it was fine. I was happy with it.
That's honestly, so like we do an emo night as well, and wide genre wise is a major concern. So we're like trying to rein it in and trying to be like, no, we're gonna stay on it. But like, I mean, I think that if you're playing punk music, if you're playing like protest music, if you're playing folk music, I play a lot of Frank Turner, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's not like he was like, oh, it's a big, you know, this is like there with My Chemical Romance is, you know, all this, you know, but you're still hitting on those sort of things that are like the same community. If it's like, oh, you would hear this artist on Warped Tour or see them at a major rock festival. Like, I think that's generally appropriate.
And I was kind of feeling like, you know, I also wanted to, play stuff that was like a little bit, because it's like the online one, you know, and like we're going there because everything is terrible. So I wanted to play stuff that like also would just like be fun. That's why I was like, let's throw on this Ace of Base song that feels like nostalgic and like, it's, you know, it'll be just fun to hear it for a second and be in a moment like, oh, this song, remember back in 92 when we were small and Everything was fine
Yeah.
because we were small and we didn't know any better.
Exactly.
We were just straight vibing as babies. Like, yeah, what's up?
So,
oh hell yeah, baby vibes.
Yeah, that Rugrats baby vibes.
oh my, they had so many stresses though all the time. They were always having a problem, those Rugrats.
I think partially it was because of Angelica up in there. And this again,
Angelica, yeah.
the grown up ones, the older ones, always making it a problem. See,
Susie was good though.
Yeah,
Susie
she was
knew
chill.
what was up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Angelica, real jerk. Those parents, wild.
Yeah.
Dr. Lipschitz is still hilarious to me that they like that was his name. It's so good.
Yeah. I was watching it was kind of a retrospective on Hey Arnold yesterday.
Okay.
It was like a very short video about how Nickelodeon basically messed up Hey Arnold. Like
What'd they
didn't really
do?
have a lot of value in it. They just didn't really care about it. They were like, this isn't really the kind of show we want. Like it's not super successful, I guess. I don't know if it was I mean, I was a child. I don't remember its success. I was like
You were like, yeah, football head, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember loving it and sort of being like, this is so different from my experience. And I'm like, this is interesting. This is really cool. I like this.
Yeah.
And I don't remember any of this other stuff about it, but apparently they made an entire season of it. And then Nickelodeon was like, we're not sure. We're not really confident in it. Here's what we want you to do. We want you to make 2 movies. One of them is going to be released on the network on Nickelodeon, and the other one will be released in theaters. So they start to work on it, and they're like, we're going to make the really good one, the one we put in theaters. We got to make that a really nice thing because it's going to be, people are buying tickets for it. And then are kind of like, meh, it's good. The story's there, but like, we're not going to put as much time into the one that goes on TV. So they finished the TV one first. The network's like, cool, that's the one going to theaters. And they put it in theaters and it flopped. And so
I didn't even know that.
Even made this.
Wait, was it the one with him finding his parents?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought that one was new.
They made that new. They released that second one recently. That second part because we never really fully found out, and then it's like, my parents are alive. It's not like a Tarzan situation.
That second one was the one that was originally supposed to be in theaters.
Oh,
so and they just released it, and that's why there's like some resurgence of like, well, what's going on here? They then had this entire season of the show that was like backlogged. So they released it at random times over the next 4 years. Like,
what?
like, oh, we have a time slot. So let's put in one of those new episodes of Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's the messiest programming I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold is so good though. They shouldn't have done that.
Exactly.
It's so good.
I don't know why they would have ever considered to not give it its due diligence. I thought that show was one of the best ones in Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it was like Rugrats, Doug, and Hey Arnold were my top 3, and then like Cat Dog was okay. My brother really liked the Angry Beavers. Sometimes we watch Rocket Power, but like
Rocket Power was good too.
Yeah, I just like, and then SpongeBob obviously, but like I mean, just Doug and Rugrats and Hey Arnold were like the three big ones for me personally.
I'm glad there's more people out there who also watch Doug, because I feel like I'll talk to some of my friends and they're like, what are you talking about? I don't know this show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is like the single best show of my childhood.
Yeah. Well, have you watched it recently? Because it was on, I think, Hulu. And I put it on, and
I didn't know it was on Hulu.
Yeah, it's weird. The pacing was so weird. There was like all these long silent moments, and I turned it off because I was like, it's weird now, and I don't want to ruin it.
And now I'm uncomfortable. Is this why I'm like this? Is this why I can't talk to people?
He was like talking to Mr. Dink, and right, that was his name, Mr. Dink.
I think so. Yeah,
with the lawnmower and all the conventions, and one of them would say something, and then there would be like this weird long pause, and then the other person would answer. And I was like, why is there all this space in here? It was weird, but yeah.
The amounts that like television and dialogue and all these like making of cartoons, even like all the stuff that's on TV now, it's like we can't go back and watch the stuff from the 90s.
Yeah, because I guess everything's so like fast now. But actually, I just remembered a funny thing. I was playing Stardew Valley, and I made. I don't know if you've played that, but like
I know it enough. Kind of like Harvest Moon, right?
I heard that it's like Harvest Moon, but I don't know anything about that. But yes, you're supposed to be nice is the main premise. Like be nice and make friends and farm. And I wanted to see
and farm,
and I wanted to see right. Yeah, I wanted to see what happened if you were mean, just like how it was programmed. So I made a separate farm called Mean Farm, and I like made my whole character look mean, and I sent it to my friend. I was like, look at this mean guy. I named him Cromwell, and I was like, look how mean he is. And my friend was like, he looks exactly like Roger from Doug, and I was like, oh, that's my blueprint for mean. That makes so much sense.
My blueprint is Roger.
Yeah, he was such a jerk.
Oh God.
My friend said that I had like a haircut that looked like Roger Klotz, and I was so
oh no! Yeah, if the sides were a little shorter, I see it.
Yeah,
just dye it red.
I'm a little.
I guess I kind of
right now,
if I put
you could like stick it up.
Yeah.
Then I could be Roger too.
You could.
Is Roger?
They got too
Klotz,
much
like,
hair.
the like pop punk boy, like emo.
Oh God.
Like
I think he was like he was almost like sort of greasery with the boots.
Yeah.
I think if we were to look at an analysis of it now, it would be like, is Roger one of the pop punk guys that we had to cancel?
He totally is. He grew up and he's like, man, I just, used to listen to all these bands when I was in high school, and now he runs the local emo night with his leather jacket and his white t-shirt.
I hate this so much.
I hate that it's real.
We're gonna get hate tweets, and guess who's gonna have to deal with them? Me.
Roger's gonna sign on. He's gonna come out of hiding, and he's gonna sign on. And he's been like, "I'm real. How dare you?"
He enters the Twitch chat right now.
Logging on. Roger Klotz would be like 45 years, probably like upwards of like 50 years old right now or something, right?
I don't know. What was he, like 16 or something?
Yeah,
they
like
were
16,
all in high school,
17.
Right? Yeah.
Because they graduated at the end of it all, right? I think.
Did they? Or were they in high school or were they in middle school?
I think they were in high school because I think I remember they had like a prom homecoming thing.
But were they?
I don't know if you have homecoming in middle school.
I think they were in middle school and then they went to high school in the Disney one, the Disney remake.
Oh.
When their clothes were slightly different.
It's
more updated.
And then 7th grade.
7th grade was Disney? Oh, so they didn't even go to high school.
Oh.
It was
so they were
middle school.
I guess they just seemed old because I was like
little, yeah. And you're like, you look like an adult.
Yeah.
I also always just like I for some reason I remember Judy so much in that show.
How could you not? Icon.
Yeah, icon, fashion icon. I remember like the episode where Doug is rolling around on the ground wearing her clothes because he like has to do favors for her. And, and Skeeter's like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he's like, "I'm wearing Judy's clothes. I'm bohemianizing it." Like for some reason that joke is stuck in my head for the rest of time. That is always a joke I will remember about that show.
That's good.
I am bohemianizing it. So yeah, in the show he's 14 to 15 years old.
Roger is.
Yeah, Roger.
Oh, because he got held back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course he did.
That's usually how the mean kids manifest. They're like, held back. I can't be with my friends.
This is from the Doug.fandom.com. The Doug.
Oh.
Under interest, it says bullying. Greatest website of all time.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Elise. If you had a fandom, what would your interest be? And I hope it's not bullying. It's the real question here.
It would just be, music, reading. I like reading. Doug. I like Doug.
Doug.
We
link Doug back.
It would probably be like, I like to play the guitar and I like to like flop around in my room. Especially now, I love to flop around and
bohemianizing.
I like to bohemianize my clothes. Yeah, I don't know. I guess one of those things.
Yeah. I really want to ask, just in case, I want to ask the question again about 90s inspo for your music because we kind of got interrupted during that question.
Oh yeah, I didn't really finish that answer.
Yeah, so let's go back to that a little bit. So yeah, your interest of like 90s music, 90s grunge, 90s punk, 90s that. how did that like influence you, and how did that influence your music, and when you're writing songs, how does that like kind of showcase in your music?
I think it's yeah, I like that was the stuff that was I was listening to when I shouldn't drink this beer that I was listening to while
you know what, you should drink that beer.
You've earned it. You've earned it.
Earned it.
It was the stuff that I was listening to when I started playing music, when I started playing the guitar especially, and that was all the stuff that was on the radio. And you know, I got into Green Day. My neighbor brought over Dookie, like right when it came out, so I got into that, and then like went down the rabbit hole of other punk bands, like Epitaph and Fat Wreck, and got in. I loved like Punkorama 3, Volume 3. It was like as a special place for me because that was like the first one I got, and you know, found a bunch of stuff I liked from there. And I think, and then just like general 90s radio stuff that was on then, and like Our Lady Peace, and even like Wallflowers and all that stuff.
Who even mentions Our Lady Peace?
You're not on Twitter much.
That record, that record Clumsy is like one of my all-time favorite records. It's so good. I actually played it recently when I was in the car with my brother, and I was like, I really like the way this record sounds, so like next record, let's think about these sounds. but yeah, so it was like all that stuff is what I was hearing when I was first writing songs, when I was first learning to play. So I learned a lot of that stuff on the guitar, because like that, you learn a lot of covers when you're learning, you know. And so I think it just kind of like, now when I'm writing, I'm not like actively thinking, let's write a 90s song or whatever. It's just like, that's such a big part of my musical life, and it's just like kind of in my head. And so it just comes out on its own, I guess, you know. It worked its way in there, and it comes out in the songs.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. It's weird that in 2020 there's so many artists, and Lizzie has shown me a lot of them, but there's so many artists that now are like influenced by the 90s and grunge especially, and you know, coming from like a pop punk scene, and then hearing these like more indie side bands or more DIY bands, and a lot of the influences from grunge is just so interesting now that like that's what's now coming back into fashion, I guess. Not to say it's like it's just fashion, but it's like, oh, that's the music like I was super into, and now I'm 48 years old. And it's
you're not.
It wasn't cool when I was trying to do it back in like 2008, but like now it's super cool.
Yeah, it's like, I think it has something about like, you know, that's just the stuff that a lot of people were like growing up on, and that's why like, you know, I think it happens in generations. Like classic rock stuff was super influencing those guys, because like that's what they heard growing up. And I think we just hit that time period where like a lot of people that are putting out music right now were very influenced by that stuff 25 years ago or whatever. Yeah. And like now it's coming out of everyone. And a lot of the people that are like consuming and listening to the music were also like super into that stuff. So it's like something familiar, but still new, I think, like, because it definitely, I think a lot of these records, they don't, it's not like, if it came out in the 90s, they wouldn't sound like as grungy as they do now, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think they fit. Like, it's not like it could be like, oh, this could have come out back then. It's just like, but you can hear like the strains of that on them.
More of that like influence, more so than like it's ripping it off.
Yeah.
Like those bands were influenced. I remember, because I would always read like Silverchair interviews where everybody's like, you're a Nirvana ripoff, and they're like, no, we're all influenced by Black Sabbath, and we're ripping them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're ripping off bigger bands than Nirvana, who is like our contemporary at the time.
Right, because they were like releasing records like at the same time, right? I don't remember the Silverchair timeline. I think I only like really heard their singles.
I think I'm the only one that I know who knows the Silverchair timeline.
I had a friend back in the 90s. I had a friend, and Silverchair was like there. I was like Green Day, and they were Silverchair, and so they knew all the stuff. But they're Australian. I know that.
Yeah, I heard an interview with the drummer recently, and I'm like, are they going to talk about Silverchair? And they were like, heads up, we don't talk a lot about Silverchair on this episode. And so I'm like, well, okay.
You're like,
Are
suddenly
they-
I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
Are they not a band anymore? What?
No, they broke up, a while back. Like,
Okay.
I saw them at Lollapalooza in, I think, 2011.
Oh, okay.
That was the first show they played in the US in like 7 years. Like they just weren't touring the US. They released albums every like 4 years or so. So
Yeah.
it was just not really on the cycle. They did that, and then they did a Q101, which is like a local radio station in Chicago.
Well,
They
now
did one of their
defunct
holiday
with that
shows.
one.
Sure, yeah. It's still kind of around, like there's still a 101.1 alternative station, but it's just not Q101 anymore.
Gotcha.
They did a holiday show for them. And so in 1 year they did 2 shows. And then the next year, I think they were like, yeah, we're good. So it must have been like 2012 or 2013. They were like hanging it up. They went on indefinite hiatus, and the singer started to release new music, and he wanted to like do orchestration for movies and stuff. I don't think he ever did. I think he's just like
No.
an Australian celebrity.
Okay.
But they're all doing like solo projects that are
I'm gonna
probably
ask
doing
my Australian
very well
friends.
in Australia.
If they,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out.
Also,
Well, I won't find out right now.
if any of them are willing to send
gonna
me,
send a text.
if any of them are willing to send me T-shirts, I'd love.
Oh
to
yeah.
sell Silverchair T-shirts in America.
The shipping is so much,
Yeah,
which I
It's
know because
only-
I've had to ship some stuff over there.
yeah, it's cost prohibitive, but I am.
You
to quote
really
a Parks
won't.
and Rec quote, I am willing to spend an amount that my accountant calls irresponsible.
Did you ever hear that band The Living End? They're
Oh, yeah.
Australian too. I
Yeah.
love
I think
them.
I literally picked up a vinyl from them from my local record store because it sounded good. And I was like, who is this? And then I just bought it.
That's awesome. They're so good.
Yeah.
I saw them open for remember when Prisoner of Society came out? That was like their big single here.
Yeah.
That was on I think the self-titled record with the red on the front. And I saw them open for Green Day, and it was such a sick show. And I got a shirt, and I got a little 7-inch, which I know I have the 7-inch. I don't know. I think the shirt might be at my dad's house. But it's got like because he played the upright bass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so
They were
cool.
sick.
They're awesome. I think they might still be a band.
Yeah.
They
I think
might be.
It's if they're not, they're coming back because this was the. I mean, it was-
Everyone's just coming back now. What else are you going to do during
Yeah.
quarantine? Nothing. Come back.
Yeah, and
Everyone get off
Melbourne,
of your indefinite hiatus that doesn't exist anymore.
They're back in lockdown out in Australia too. They have
Yeah.
to. Well, I don't know about all of it, but in Melbourne and Victoria, I think they're in lockdown. Can't go out of your house for more than an hour or something.
Oh,
Jeez.
Well, they're trying not to.
we need it here.
kill
We need
anyone.
it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. How nice of them. These Australians. So smart. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Lizzie,
That-
you asked the next question.
No. I know that when we go back to your inspo, so I'm the one who tweeted out, as we established earlier, because Brian doesn't use Twitter. I tweeted out when I first heard Crack in the World, I'm like, I'm listening to a Brody Dolly song right now, and I swear to God, because I like kept thinking about it. I'm like, no, this isn't Diploid Love. I don't have this on right now. And I was like, that's why I was like really impressed with your like just your overall like songs and your lyrics and just the way that you sing, because I haven't heard a lot of other singers have that type of like versatility like Brody Dolly has.
yeah.
And when I heard you sing on Crack in the World, I was like, holy shit, like there's one other person out there that I have found personally that matches this. And it's definitely fits in a vibe for me personally that like I can listen to Diploid Love like during certain periods. But if I ever wanted to not listen to Diploid Love, I could never do it because I didn't have the same vibe. And now I kind of do with this album. And I know you said Distillers are like huge influences for you too. Like I love the
Yeah.
Distillers.
Wait, can I gotta get something.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, hi, Peter.
Hey Peter, what's up?
I saw you chat earlier, but hi.
Speaking of, this is me and my high school boyfriend.
Oh my God.
I just found this picture
I love that.
of my Distillers shirt. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, they finally put out that old Distillers shirt like in their merch online.
have
I'm
it
like,
back?
I gotta buy it. Yeah,
Oh
they
my
came out
God,
with like
I
a
gotta
whole
get it.
new like merch line. I'm like, I gotta buy it. We gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta get it because like I have no idea. I had this and I had a tank top too, which is apparently in my yearbook photo I just saw also because I was doing the fest thing and they were like, I don't know why we were talking about our yearbooks, but they were like, oh, let's see your picture. It's probably stupid. And I was like, oh God, it probably is. And I was like, nope, I was cool. I was
a cool good luck.
But yeah, I loved the Distillers. I got really excited. I remember the first time my friend Justin showed me the Distillers, and I was just super stoked because like there weren't a lot of like non-men that in the scene like as big as the Distillers at that time, you know, and it was definitely harder to find, especially like without the internet, and you're mostly just like in your local scene and seeing what's being covered, which is generally white men or what were being covered at the time. So I just remember being like so stoked when I was like found that or was shown the Distillers. I was like, this is sick. And she's just doing the thing and like it's not like a gimmick or whatever. She's just like, this is me and I'm playing this music and I can sing like this and scream and I can sing quiet and I can like the songs rip and we drove to Baltimore. It was a school night, so I had to be home early. So we drove to Baltimore to see the Distillers open for Garbage and some other huge band that I can't remember right now, but we had to leave. We saw the Distillers and then we had to leave. Oh. My mom was like, you have to be home because you have school tomorrow. But that's
you're like, sounds kind of fake. So
but that was huge for me. And like I think Coral Fang is the last record of theirs that I really like know, but definitely a huge influence those first, I think it was the first 3 records. Yeah.
I know that wasn't a question. It was more of like my verbal compliment rather than on Twitter. But I was reorganizing my vinyl and I have the Garbage Brody Daly Record Store Day. I think it's like a 55. Yeah, it's like this really cool green. I can go and get it real quick and be right back. So because when you said, oh, they opened for Garbage, I'm like, God, that's such a full circle moment. Yeah. So let me go grab that real quick.
Okay.
Show off, yeah. I don't have any cool anything because I was like, yeah, punk wasn't really my genre back in the day.
What was your genre?
It was really like emo and like the My Chems and the Used was a huge fan for me. So it's more in that side of things, like the pop genre.
Like
pop,
adjacent,
emo,
but
pop rock. Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. Peter in the chat saying Lizzie's gonna flex.
I am about to flex. These are like my pride and joy because I remember this was like one of the very first things I ever bought for Record Store Day.
Jeez.
Yeah,
and it was because it's super cool.
Oh, that's nice. That's real
beautiful. Nice. And then I got the Coral Fang Distillers Record Store Day exclusive.
Nice. You know what?
It's like a sick blood red.
Oh,
cool.
That's perfect with that record too.
Oh, definitely.
I just pulled out my CD of it recently when I was doing these cover sets over the summer, like every Thursday, just of different stuff. And I did a Distillers night and I was looking at my CDs and I forgot until I pulled it out that I had like the other cover, the one with like the animals and stuff on it.
Yeah.
I forgot that. Then that's what mine looks like. And I pulled it out. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, right.
You're like, did I listen to heavy metal? Oh my God.
Because I like pictured it as the actual cover because I hadn't looked at the physical CD in so long. And I was like, oh, wow. It's like the censored one that they had to make for like, because I'm sure I bought it at like Best Buy. That's where I used to get all my CDs, was at the Best Buy. So that's the version I have.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Still.
Yeah. But
well, Lizzie, now that you flexed, do you have any questions?
Well, you mentioned that on what was it, Thursdays or Tuesdays? You were doing some live,
Thursdays.
and I know earlier we said that you were doing some Twitch streaming too. So how
Yeah.
has that, was that obviously get born out of quarantine, or was that something you were doing before?
No, I had never, I don't think I had like gone live even one time on Instagram or anything before quarantine. And then, I started doing the cover sets on Instagram to start. And then I found out about Twitch and started doing them in both places. And then, I did like 2 months of them and then kind of stopped for a bit with the covers. But I've been doing just like assorted actual me sets, like Oceanator sets, not just cover stuff, throughout then, and trying to do, like, we did a full band live one for the record release, which was super fun. And I'm doing one tomorrow on Long Neck's Twitch stream. So yeah, the streaming is definitely something new for quarantine. I when I first started doing it, I did not like it at all. It was, it felt so weird to just like be playing to like a computer screen and have no idea if anyone was paying attention or like what it sounded like even, and but kind of got used to it, and now kind of like them because it's like the only thing you can. Yeah, and like I just, it's like it's cool to have like this with the one tomorrow, to like just having them scheduled and then being like, okay, I have this show to get ready for, like just getting a little bit of that sort of thing still is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the tech issues are always fun, aren't they?
Yeah, I finally got
again.
I finally got my setup going real nice over here too. I got someone sent me a mixer, which was really sweet. And so I could get my like sound sounding real nice and everything. So I got a good setup now.
Yeah. So is it just like do you like people chatting? Like, are you like taking requests? Or are you like doing just like a sort of like a chill hangout session?
It depends on the stream. Yeah, like there's been a couple where I've just been like there was one where I was having a bad day and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna play Dookie later. To hop on the stream. Like, and so like that was like very like chatty, and like after that I was like, I did one all request Green Day set where it was like you can choose anything from 1039 Smoothed Out Slappy Hours to Nimrod, and I'll play it. And I only messed up one, which was cool.
Oh,
But
there you go.
But also not cool because I was like, why are all these songs in my head? That's wild that they just live there. But yeah, so it depends on, some of them are like more of a set and some of them are like more freeform request things. And sometimes I'll like plan a set, but then if someone throws something in the chat that they want to hear and I feel like playing it, I'll play it,
Yeah.
So yeah, like the live stream for the record was like, we're playing the full record, and that was like a whole thing and setup and everything. But when I do it just from my apartment, it's a little more loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
So,
See, I think that's like, I mean, there are very few silver linings right now. Just in a world where of clouds, there are very few silver linings in the sky right now. But I do think there is something to be said about how musicians are giving like these special experiences right now, and how like you can get to know everybody going to the internet and being present on a live stream or videos. A lot of people starting their YouTube channels, going on shows to advertise. I started a YouTube channel. It's like, well, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to like get that different experience with musicians, different experience with people that you probably won't ever really get to have again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're going to do a tour of Dookie covers. So.
Not a whole tour, definitely. I think
it's like
a
cool thing that lives there for you and for your audience, and like people will find out about you in years and go back and go, oh my god, this is this really cool video of her playing all Dookie covers.
Yeah, it was funny too. I was just watching right before we started this. I was watching the Fest live stream that was going on, and Chris #2 from Anti-Flag was on, and he started playing a Dookie cover, and I was like, stop, that's my thing. But obviously, I guess like he was saying, his band, like they did a whole set at Fest of the whole record, which is cool. I didn't see it, but that's but yeah, I think it's definitely fun. I like when people, it's weird. I really like when people are like super active in the chat on the live stream, which is something I would like, I hate if I'm playing live and people are just standing around chatting. Like that's so distracting and weird. But like on the online, it's like cool to see people active in the chat, because it's like, even if like they're just talking to each other, like it's cool to be facilitating this kind of like little community area where people can come and chat with other folks and not be like alone, you know, because like we're all like sitting at home alone all the time. So yeah, I'm it's not, it's definitely different from a live show, and which is a total way better thing, you know, being in the actual room with people. But,
yes.
Yeah. But it's a fun other thing. And I feel like in the future, like if and when shows come back, like I might do a live stream every now and then too, because it's definitely like a different experience for sure.
Yeah. I feel like it's not going to go away so much. I don't feel like, I feel like now everybody's learning, and everybody spent a lot of money on equipment. As I look around my room here, it's like I got to use it. And I mean, one other thing I think of it for musicians, and maybe you'll feel the same way, maybe not, is that it's a little bit of a way for you to like own your process, like own everything for yourself a bit more. Like a lot of musicians having to like, they have to go on tour, they have to do their merch or like all that, and like now it's a time for like, all right, I can't go play shows, I can't really like leave my house or do anything, but I have this opportunity to like create content that is for me and for what I want to do, and it's connecting with an audience in that way that like nobody else is going to own. No one's going to be like, you have to sell merch for that, or you have to like do this tour, or you have to go with these artists or like that. It's like literally just something that you create, and you have your audience and you have your attachment there. And I feel like that's like, musicians don't really get to do that. They have to sort of like be doing whatever like a label says, or doing whatever, you know, they're supposed to do to be a band in that way. But now it's like, no, that whole rule book is gone. That whole thing is like thrown completely out, and we have to figure it all out from scratch now. So I think it's interesting that like artists probably will do more live streamed events. They probably will do more just general like internet content, and reach a wider audience in that way, rather than rely on the going out and being in front of an audience all the time.
Yeah, I think that's especially true for bigger artists that are on like labels that make them do stuff.
Right.
You know, like, because I like, especially with this record, like I put it out on my label, so it was like pretty much my own timing, and you know, like I could do sort of whatever I wanted to do, and it's kind of been like that for touring and everything too. Is like I haven't gone on any tours that I didn't want to go on, you know, but I've heard stories from other folks where they're like, well, we have to do this tour because of like whatever such and such reasons, and yeah, so that's been for me. It's that hasn't been as much of an issue, but it is cool to get to do like like I couldn't, like you said, I couldn't like go up on stage and be like, tonight I'm playing all Green Day, you know, like that's not that's not a thing. So like in terms of that stuff, like, because I just genuinely, and I think most musicians say this, I just genuinely love playing music, like, you know, that's what's fun for me. So like some days I don't feel like playing my songs, I just want to jam out on some stuff I like, and so it's cool to get to be like, today I'm playing Green Day, or today I'm playing the Distillers, or today I'm doing all of Reinventing Axl Rose. Like, come hang out if you want to. I'm gonna be playing it either way. Like, but I'll be on the internet and doing it, and that's fun, because then you get to share it with people and like, you know, interact in the chat, and it's just like, yeah, in that respect, it's getting to do whatever you want, like just by doing covers or whatever the heck you want to do is pretty cool for sure.
And is your record label Plastic Miracles?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know, and you work with Colin, right?
Well, Colin's working specifically with Hoagie for the Sunny Falls record. Yeah. So we're working together on that record. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I used to work with him a little bit here in the Chicago music scene, and I like posted about it. He was like, oh, I'm working with Elise. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. We're putting out that Sunny Falls record, and it's super fun. That's the first, because the label was not supposed to, it was supposed to be for other people's music. It wasn't supposed to be for my record, but then bunch of stuff happened that we don't need to get
Right,
into.
because you were a part of Tiny Engines, and then that whole shit hit the fan.
Yeah. So that's why I was then gonna it's a whole big thing, but like, yeah, that's why my record is out on it. But I have like the Sunny Falls record, and we're announcing another record actually next week from someone else, and have like 4 other things lined up, but everything's getting like pushed back, you know, because everyone's struggling, obviously, for all the reasons. Yeah, so like it's cool. The Sunny Falls record is, we're doing a weird thing where we're putting out like a single at a time, just kind of stretching out the release and seeing how that goes, since there's no shows, and just kind of trying to do something different. But yeah, it's been cool working with Colin. I haven't actually met him in person, but we're email friends.
There you go.
Cool.
We always
Yeah.
love email buddies.
Yeah, and he's doing all the PR and stuff for the record, and I think we're both pretty stoked on that record in general. It's a cool record. The whole point with the label is like, I only want to put out stuff I like. So, because it's not like a new job for like money or whatever. It's just like a project that I want to do, because one of my favorite things is just sharing music. Like even like other people, whatever I like, I'm like, I just get excited about showing people things I like. So that's kind of why I started the label, is like, I want to show people things that I like, and hopefully they'll like them too. And if not, that's okay. They can go listen to something else, you know?
I feel like that's the best way to like start a label, and then just be like, no, I'm going to be the pickiest person. Just be like, do I like this or do I not like it? And then I'm going to have to deal with the repercussions of my decisions. So I better like it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because I'm putting all this work into these records, and like, I'm doing it because I want to. So like, that's why I'm only putting out stuff that like, I think I'm going to give the right amount of attention to, you know, like, I don't want to put out anything that like is good, but I'm not personally invested in it, because I won't be giving it the attention that I think it deserves. And someone else could probably do a better job with it if they're more like personally invested in that music, you know? So like that, I have gotten a couple people like sending stuff in, but I'm like way too lined up with stuff to even like really like do anything with that yet, because I've got like, I think like 7 unannounced records so far, which is like plenty, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a lot. That's a lot to be winding down.
Yeah, so like I haven't really gotten into that yet, but in the future, when it's going to be more like submissions and stuff, I think, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of great, I think in general that in the world there's a lot of really great music, but you know, not everyone's going to connect with things in the same way. And if I'm not connecting with it on a super like personal, deep, like I have to put this out level, then I don't want to put something out just because like I know that it's good. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to feel that it's good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to feel good putting your full support and backing behind it, and not just because it's like, oh, it sounds like the kids will like it.
Yeah, like, and yeah, exactly. I don't want to put it out because I think other people are going to like it. And I also think if I was doing that, it's somewhat of a disservice to the artist, because like they put their whole heart into this thing and they love it, and whoever's promoting it and working on it should also love it and feel attached to it. And
yeah, I'm usually so against labels, but then it's like there's all these like, you know, indie labels or more like the DIY side of it, where you can just be like, no, I love this, therefore I want to support it and I want to give it my backing so that people will hear it. And I'm like, yeah, that's a label.
That's a label.
Not a bank. It's like a
label,
you know?
I think there's a difference between like, yeah, a label and then people who are a label because they want to spread music, you know, like, and I think there's some bigger labels doing that really well, and I think there's some smaller labels doing that really well. I think it's like it's all over the spectrum, and there's some places that like are on a lot of people's radars, but I still think they're in it for like the right reasons, you know. Yeah. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, yeah, fuck, you know, these big labels.
No, I think, yeah, and I think it's funny. I was talking to one of my friends, and a thing that I personally feel for myself is I don't think I ever want to be on like a major label. That's not like a goal for me, because I don't think that that would work well for the way that I want to work on music. You know, I think there's definitely some benefits to that, but I don't think it's like the way that I make music. And I have some friends who like that is their goal, but it makes sense for like their goals. And if they get on a major label, like they are going to get to do all the things that they want to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either thing, unless the label you get on is a jerk and like fucks you over, you know, but like, if you get a good deal or whatever, and your contract's worked out nice, and you're on a major label and that's helping you, like that's fucking awesome, you know, like it's just not the way that I want to go. But there are some bigger indies that I love, and I think they're great, and you know, that's a different story for me personally.
Like Epitaph comes knocking on your door, you're like, well,
be like, I listened to
You're
you
like, well,
forever.
No, hold on.
Yeah. And like Polyvinyl, I love. They've got like a great roster, and they seem like they're super into all their bands, you know, and like they seem to be in it for the right reasons. And Big Scary Monsters actually picked up my record partway through this cycle, and they're putting it out in UK, Europe, which is cool because like I love them also. Like I've been
they have Nervous on their roster, and I love Nervous, and we've talked with Proper too, like last year I think it was. So
yeah, like everyone that I like Proper, and like Illuminati Hottie's new record is on there, and like they just have like all these people that are awesome and like their music is awesome, and they gave off this vibe of like they're in it because they love the music. And then so we started talking, and then like I was like, oh yeah, you all seem as cool as I thought you were, so like let's do this. You know, so like yeah,
it's really nice to like
I only know these names because Lizzie has said them to me.
You gotta look it up. Go to Big Scary Monsters, look at their roster. There's some great
I've been telling you, Brian. I send it to you. I'm like, listen to this, and you're just like 1975, and I'm like, no, Brian, there's more to life than the 1975.
And there's so much emo on there.
I know.
All your emo faves.
I have this problem, and we talk about it now with everybody we interview, because it's always like, oh, here's new music, here's all this, and I'm just like, yeah, I listen to like the same bands over and over again, and don't stop.
I mean, that's fine too. I listen to the same bands over. I mean, we've been talking about Green Day like this whole time, right? Like I listen to the same bands over and over again. But like, I think you would like some, based on just you talking today. I think you'd like a lot of the bands that are on there.
Like Lizzie has never given me a bad recommendation. I will give her that.
Hell yeah.
It's really hard. I don't know if it's like old dog, new tricks sort of thing, but it's just like getting this new music. I'm just like, cool. Anyway, back to my comfort zone. I don't know. I think it's weird.
I think right now too, especially with being in quarantine and the pandemic and stuff, I think it's much easier and more comforting to go back to stuff that you already know. I know, like I was like listening to only like all the 90s stuff I loved, and like for a little while, because I was just like, I need something like to grab onto, and that's just like the nostalgia and the you know, comfort of it, just grabbing onto all that stuff. I was like, okay, cool. But then once I settled in and started listening to, like, now I'm like excited to like check out all the new stuff again, which is cool, because like it's hard, you know, it's hard to constantly be looking for new stuff, I think. And like you got to be in the right brain space to like engage with something new. It's not something you can't just like put it on and be like, I know where I am and everything's fine. But like it's very rewarding, I think. And like there's been some fucking great records coming out this year. I think my tops would be the new Jeff Rosenstock record, No Dream, is so good. And the Namdi put out 3 things that were all awesome, but like Brat is like fantastic. And then the Illuminati Hottie's record, I think, is incredible. So I would say you should check those out for sure if you haven't.
Yeah, those are top picks for sure.
I'll have to.
Yeah, you will have to.
Listen, Joji's album comes out tomorrow. I'll be listening to that. It's also weird that like my tastes have gone so much from like that emo and pop punk and rock side of things, and now I'm just like, I think I just want to listen to like tropical house and sad emo hip hop, and that's it.
Okay, cool.
It's like gotten all that, and then like 80s like I guess I call it 80s revival, like Pale Waves in 1975, like kind of that pop 80s new. I don't know what you call it.
I've never heard one 1975 song. Is that what they sound like?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, it's very much just like pop rock. But here's what I'll also say about discoverability. I tend to like bands through their music videos and through their live performances.
Okay.
So I saw 1975 live, having heard a few songs, not really hitting me, not like, oh yeah, I love this band. Saw them live, and it completely changed my perspective of it. So I go home, I start listening to the records, I go, holy shit, now I like get it. It's like something about being able to have the visual of it with the audio version of it that lets me like feel like this is what I like. I don't know. It's
hear
very
that.
strange like that to me.
I feel like there's a lot of bands that maybe, and similarly, where like I've seen them live and loved it, and maybe wouldn't have gotten into it if I'd heard the record first before I saw it. And then there's also some bands that like I love live but don't really listen to. And then there's some bands that are like the magic both, where it's like I love the record and I
You're
love
like
it live.
together.
Yeah. But like
actually, there are a lot of bands I've seen live that I've never listened to.
Yeah, because like I think it is very much two different things. I think a cool example of that is Courtney Barnett. If you've listened to her records are awesome. They're really great.
Through Lizzie, I think I've heard her.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
so great.
I saw her at Pitchfork. That was great.
Yeah, so like it's like exactly like her records are one thing, and her live shows are like another similar thing, but still different. But they're both like perfect as they're two separate things. You know, I actually that's funny that you brought up the Pitchfork set. I actually didn't. I was playing drums with a band that was opening for her on that tour, and we didn't see that show, but I was talking to a friend on the phone, and like later, and I was like, "You gotta check out Courtney Barnett," and like just watch 1 second of this live video when we put on like the Pitchfork set. Like I was in my bed with my headphones on, and we were on the phone, and we like watched one song, and he was like, "Can we just keep watching this?" And I was like, "Sure." And we watched the whole set. He like loved it so much. But yeah, so that's one of those things where it's like, it's perfect in both. I think she does it. She fucking nails it on the record and nails it. It's just like a little rawer and like live, and it's just like perfect.
It's just enough. It's enough for the indie kids there to be like, yeah, I'm kind of edgy and cool while also like straight and vibing. And it's like, yes, I will give that to you.
Yeah. And like she's just like super talented, great songwriter, like ridiculously good guitarist. There's like and her band is so good. It's just great. It's just really great.
Just her entire like persona and then just assembly is just like great. I don't have one bad thing to say. If somebody had a bad thing to say about Courtney Barnett, I would seriously question their character.
Yeah, because there's
Lizzie
like
will find you. Lizzie will educate you by force.
Yeah, she's just great. Super talented, super great, super nice. Good human.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on her.
I did want to ask, I saw that you have a Patreon as
I do have a Patreon. Yeah.
So how was that? Just because obviously quarantine and being like, hey guys, I lost all my income. Let's go.
That's how it like got pushed forward into starting it. I was planning on doing it anyway because I wanted to have a place to kind of share some stuff that I probably wouldn't be releasing, like B-side sort of stuff and some of the more acoustic-y songs and just like other random stuff. But yeah, I did like start it because I was like, every job I had, like my restaurant job and my music jobs and all the tours I had lined up, like they're all gone. And what am I going to do? But yeah, it's something I've been thinking about anyway. And I've been putting like covers and some like just other stuff that people like maybe hadn't like heard before, or I had a couple like demos of stuff that like didn't make any of the records yet that I'm not sure if I'll release someday, but like I like them, so I was like I want to share them with people. And yeah, hoping to. I got like really overwhelmed with the whole record release. It went better than I was expecting, to be honest. So it's just cool. But so I got overwhelmed and haven't put as much stuff up there as I had been planning to. But I'm recording some stuff for it now and trying to get back into really sharing some stuff on there.
I was about to say, I saw that you ended up on KEXP's playlist.
Yeah,
which is huge.
I know. It was wild. I got the email. I love KEXP, and I got the email, and for like it being on the weekly podcast one, and I was just like, they were like, "Is that okay?" I was like, "Yeah, let me sign."
Don't even ask. Just say yes. Just throw it in. Let's go.
And so I was really stoked, and then like I woke up and that podcast came into my feed because like I'm subscribed to it already. Because I love listening to it. And I was like, that's my song. So like that was a very, very cool moment. Definitely a life goal was to be on KEXP. So very stoked about that. Yeah. I love Cheryl Waters also. She's so great.
I was this close to working there.
Really?
And I did not get hired.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
No, hey, it's always great though, because they're still such like a huge legendary like radio station with what they do, and they're publicly funded. So when I also saw like you were on there and like all these other bands you listen to are starting to jump on there, I'm like, God, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I like about them so much is they're like, they're one of those places that like they're big, but they're into it for the right reasons, you know, like the labels I was talking about, like they're into it for genuinely the love of music. So they do like all their DJs and folks, like they do go out and they listen to a ton of stuff and like you can tell that like they're playing things that they're genuinely passionate about. Like, so I think that's what's so cool about, that's part of what's really cool about being on there is like, oh, they didn't just play this because like it's not that popular, but you know, they're not playing it because it's popular or whatever. They're playing it because they like are engaged with it, which is really cool. And that's also makes it fun for me when I listen to like find other stuff I didn't hear about. Cause you get to like, they're playing stuff that they're just like into and you're like, okay, cool. Let's like see what this is. And I like, they have that like daily, that like song a day one where they just like, it's just a song. Like the podcast is one song and you put it on and if you like it, you're like, cool, let me go check out what else this band has. And if you don't, you're like, okay, I didn't like that one. Try again tomorrow. And like, I just think that's really rad. So,
wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm learning all of this with you as you explain it right now. So I'm like, cool,
yeah,
nice.
The KEXP Song a Day podcast. There's just one song every day, and different genres and just a bunch of different stuff. And so you can just that's a quick, easy way to discover something new. It's pretty cool. IMO, as they say.
IMO, as the kids say.
Do the kids say that?
They do.
The kids say it, I believe her.
The kids say it. My editor usually asks me, "Is this what the kids still say?" And then he'll say some type of slang. And I'll be like, "No, sir, they do not."
If Lizzie tells me the kids are saying it, I say cool for them, and then I don't say it because I'm too worried that she's lying to me.
Just to make it look silly.
And be like, "Hey,
yeah,
hello, fellow kids."
I was just picturing that skateboard over your back, red sweatshirt.
Yeah. How do you do, fellow kids?
That really should just be your next like Instagram post. Just be like, "Hey, quarantine." Be like,
quarantine. Be like, "How do you do, fellow kids?" Elise, I want to give you an opportunity here to tell us your plugs, to tell everybody where to find you on the internet or not in person, hopefully.
Don't
not
come,
yet.
yeah. Don't
not
come
at the
here.
moment. Where can people see you, performing on Twitch and support you on Patreon and all that?
Yeah, okay. So my Twitch is twitch.tv/Elise Ocean, ELISE Ocean. And I'll be doing some stuff on there. I'm performing oh, never mind. I can't tell you about those things yet. My bad.
"Ooh."
I thought you were saying you were going to play Nevermind.
I'm going to play.
You're like, "Wow, you're getting crazy."
Maybe I will. Maybe I will do that record.
Now you have to because you just said it on accident.
Yeah. And then, the Patreon's patreon.com/Oceanator, I think. There's some fun stuff up there. The Bandcamp is oceanator.bandcamp.com. And then if you're in the UK, Europe, happening to be listening or watching or whatever, you can go to the Big Scary Monsters Bandcamp and get the vinyl there, so you don't have to pay like $1 million in shipping. They got a cute different variant of the vinyl that is looks pretty neat. And then I'm on Twitter at Oceanator and on Instagram at Oceanator Band. And I think that's all the stuff. Yeah. I think.
Spotify is Oceanator. And
yeah. Title
Go
Oceanator.
stream it. Yeah.
Go stream
Tidal.
it. And then I use Title now, actually.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. I like it. It sounds better.
Yeah. Okay.
It
I'll
does.
give you that. I know that the audio quality is better. I just,
Yeah.
it's one of those like, underused audio places. So it's like when somebody says like I use it, I'm on it. It's like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I saw this. The Alternative had like a poll up on Twitter today that was like asking about what people use, because if they want to know if they should do their playlists other places, and they had like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and then other. And I was like, oh, I wonder. And I clicked Tidal, and it was like 1%.
And it's still 1%, and it's still you.
Yeah, and it was like 400 votes, and Tidal was like 1%. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I like it. It sounds better than Spotify. But I have
fair.
Yeah. Anyway.
So stream the new record on Tidal. What's the new record called, by the way? We didn't actually say.
Oh my gosh.
We never got to it.
It's called Things I Never Said.
It's
It's called Things I Never Said, and came out on August 28th on Plastic Miracles, and then also on Big Scary Monsters, and also maybe some new fancy announcements in the future. Who knows? Anything could happen.
Yeah. So follow on the socials, stream the new record. It's very good. So,
Thanks.
don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up.
Go on the Bandcamp. I have 23 vinyl left of the first pressing. If you are a first pressing person, you got to get in now.
Yeah.
But there will be other pressings, so it's not.
It just won't be the first.
There just won't be
Yeah.
the first, yeah. But
We'll
I'm
be
not
the
trying to second, third, fourth. Maybe we'll get up to fifth. Who knows?
Ooh.
It actually is a Hot Topic reissue. That's where we end up.
That would be sick.
That would be sick. There's
Yeah.
like a certain like nostalgia and just like, yeah, my vinyl's re-released through Hot Topic. Like, you know what? Excellent. That's awesome.
That would be fine, because that store still exists, right?
It
Oh,
does, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They just rebranded as more like nerd culture than music.
Yeah,
Oh, did they?
you can get a Hot Topic credit card because they know that everyone's old
That's
enough.
disgusting.
I know.
That's actually disgusing.
Yeah.
I
I just
hate
found
that.
I had one of those like punch cards where you get like a certain percentage off. I found
Oh, yeah.
that. Never filled it.
I used to work there, and I used to give a lot more punches than were.
Uh-oh.
like, if-
Whoa.
They're gonna sue you.
They're gonna come
I
and
was
get
getting-
you.
I was getting 3 hours a week.
Oh
Like,
my
that was
god.
how much I was working. Like, I'm sorry, but I didn't earn enough money for them
That-
to not let me punch a bunch of.
I feel like
holes in
you'd
the
just be
cage.
spending more money to like get there and back.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Sure didn't work there much longer after they were only giving me 3 hours a week.
I was about that sounds like I got offered a job at as much as I love the shoes, Vans, and they're like, we only give you 4 hours a week because we know everyone's here for the discount. I'm like, I'm here to work.
I'm sorry. What?
I'm like,
Oh my
excuse
God.
me?
That's horrendous.
Dang. That's like nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, excuse me? What is this?
Wow. Okay. Well, nobody shop at Vans or Hot Topic.
Oh no.
But also-
No,
but also
I only
shop
wear
at-
Vans. It's
I
my
also
gym
only wear
shoe.
Vans. I love Vans.
Granted,
I
I go
was
to
just-
Plato's Closet and I get mine secondhand.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna
alright.
pop on and get like one of those like custom ones. You know how you can get those custom designs?
Yeah.
I wanted to get one. I want to get a new pair of slip-ons with some custom stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
I wanted to get the comfort fit because those were my first pair, like the OG skater ones. I got them
Yeah.
at like, I think like DSW or Famous Footwear for like on sale for like $40.
Yeah.
And I wore them into the fucking ground because they felt like slippers on my feet. My feet look huge because they were like the old skater ones. So it was like Osiris, but like not as like obnoxious.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
then
yeah. Like the
I-
Americas, the big.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I left it at when I worked at Caribou Coffee. I covered one that was not my home store. And then I forgot them and then I never went back.
No.
So sad.
Yeah.
I had those Vans, those Jeff Rowley Vans. They're real big and poofy. Remember when they were making those really poofy skater? I had those.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Everyone's going to go on Vans now and create these
Yeah.
nostalgia where after I was just like, yeah, no, they do not want to pay you.
Well, if
That could be
everyone goes on
different
Vans-
now. I don't know. I haven't tried to work at Vans in like, God, 7 years. When was
Yeah.
I in undergrad? Oh yeah.
If Vans,
Basically.
if everyone goes on Vans because of this episode to get stuff, then I demand an Oceanator signature van
Yes.
There you
shoe.
go.
Van.
You heard it.
And
Singular.
One van.
and we all can go to the house of Vans all the time. No
Yeah.
questions asked.
The House of
When
Vans
it
in New York
opens.
is gone.
It is?
Yeah, they shut it down before all of this. It had like its last summer. It was a couple of years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bummer.
They just opened ours like 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
That's
Yeah.
sick. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've been. I think those like they overlapped a little bit. I think yours opened like a year or two before the New York one closed. It was
pretty
cool.
awesome.
I saw a lot of great shows there. I saw like Sleep, and
Ooh.
I saw Sleep and Battles together, which was pretty cool. And The Descendants, which was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I know they had one out here. I saw Taking Back Sunday, and their first show after they opened was Rise Against. I was at my college radio station, and they sent me. They're like, "Do you want to do press?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!"
Hell yeah, that's sick.
Then there's a photo of Lizzie like being thrown in the crowd.
Usually,
there?
yes.
Hell
More.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
one for Taking Back Sunday. Yes. More often than not, that's where you'll find me being yeeted across crowds.
You see a photo of people crowd surfing, and it's like, oh, that's her.
Yeah. I'm always in the front, but like on the ground. I had this fear of being crowd surfed because I thought everyone was going to make fun of how much I weighed, which is like a fear from when I was like a little small kid. And
Yeah.
so I've always been too scared to crowd surf because of insecurities.
I mean, when
But-
when touring is safe again, you can come here and we'll eat you up. I'll need help in general because I can't lift up anybody. I'm weak.
Yeah.
So
Wait, did you see the new Soul Glow record?
I've heard a lot about it. I haven't listened to it though.
Well, I think there's only one song out yet, but it's called "Songs to Yeet at the Sun." Oh my god! Such a good title. Such a good title. And then the one song, I think there's just the one song out so far. It's excellent. They're so good. But yeah, I just love that album title.
That's good.
I feel like it's appropriate.
Well, there we go. That's an episode, I guess.
We did it!
Yay!
Thank
Thank you for having me.
The Emo Social Club podcast.
Yeah.
We'll hang out on Twitch if anybody has any questions or any concerns, comments.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Now that you can
Anybody?
hear us.
Please leave it in the chat.
Yeah,
If
we usually
Elisa's
do, like,
friends who's yelling at us interviewing so late wants
Yeah.
to come and
Yeah,
discuss.
I don't think I'm gonna text her. I don't think she's here.
Mhm.
The other
Hang
friend,
out
the
and
one
see
that
if
told us
anything
about the sound, went out onto the grill and went out. He has a like balcony and put a little
Ooh.
grill out there,
Oh,
and so he was grilling and just listening. And I was texting.
Yeah.
I was like, "Is it working now?" And he was like, "Oopsies,
Oh,
outside." I don't know.
oh, I see.
Yeah, maybe he also texted LOL earlier when I mentioned him. On
Oh,
this,
so maybe he is.
So he was
Yeah.
definitely listening, but I don't know what
at
he
the
is
time,
now.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
he's like, I had to leave.
Yeah, maybe he's tired. He does get
Yeah.
tired. He had the virus, the coronavirus.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
yikes.
And it's got, you know how like it's got the lingering effects, and so it's been
Yeah.
like
Wow.
6 months, and he still got him. So
Damn.
yeah. Anyway, on that bummer, it was nice talking to you all.
It was nice talking to you too.
Yeah. Thanks everybody on Twitch for sticking with us, and check out Elise everywhere she mentioned, Oceanator, and listen to the fucking album because it's good.
Yeah,
People like being yelled at to do things. I've
listen
observed it.
to my record now.
Yeah. Shit.
That's the ASMR that people actually need. It's just that.
it's not like peaceful. It's like aggressive and angry. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking do it, coward.
It's what people need in this time to remotivate them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeet yourself to Spotify and Tidal right now.